Hello everybody and welcome to Green Star Trading with me, Tom. All views, opinions and ideas expressed in this video are my own and do not constitute financial or trading advice in any way. I'm sorry I've abandoned you guys on YouTube for the last couple of weeks, but unfortunately I contracted COVID and I went down hard. Now, I've had COVID a couple of times before. I've even mocked it for how harmless it is. Well, to me, never to other people, but talking about my own personal experience. I will not be doing well again anytime soon. This time, which is the third time I've caught it, it was absolutely horrific. I have had the worst sore throat in all the time I've been on the planet, and I'm not exaggerating or being dramatic. It literally was the worst sore throat I have ever had. Nothing would touch it, nothing would calm it. It was absolutely horrid. And my voice has finally come back in the last 48 hours. It was starting to come back Friday, Saturday, but it still sounded ropey as hell. It's still a bit sore now, but I'm finally on the mend and I'm finally recovering. So an opportunity to update you guys on YouTube. And on that note, I want to thank my patrons for being so patient with me. I know it's been a little stressful, me not being able to communicate as freely as I normally would, but I really have been under the weather, and I know that you guys appreciate that, so I just want to thank you for your continued support and your patience, and for being patient with me while I update charts. So, trying to keep this video brief, as I would like to get a full week's work in here and a full week's YouTube videos in, and I'm only going to be able to do that if I save what's left of my voice. So I'm going to speak calmly and quietly and not try to stress it out because it's still not quite there yet. So here we are on the BLX looking at the primary count. Now, if you want an opinion of the long-term count, I have a video from many months back which you can go and find. Nothing has changed. It's the same idea. If you want to have a look at why I believe a bullish case is more likely, there's a video I pull out called Is the Bottom In? That was a few weeks ago. Everything in now is still relevant. You can go and view that. We're not going to go over any old ground here. So, wave 1 at primary degree into wave 2 at primary degree complete. A move up out of a downward trend in 5 waves. Okay, a wave 1 and 2 on a smaller degree, and now we move higher. That's the bullish count in a nutshell. It is possible that this correction is not complete yet and we move lower. It's also possible that it's bearish, alright, but my primary is bullish. So that's the way I view things. Now, let's just cover some of the long-term things I've covered before in terms of price support, right? So in case this is wrong and we come down lower, this is the bearish way I think we'd do it. This was a flat pattern and we'll come down in one final ABC to God knows where. Right, the likely places it will stop are where we've discussed multiple times before. The golden zone on the log target, support levels we've got down here, the major demand zone and overlapping fixed range volume profile point of controls we've got down here. Okay, the extensions we have based off of our fib targets, which I've put somewhere. Either way, you get the idea. I've covered all of this multiple times before. There you go. Target fibs down here as well. So 1-to-1s down here, golden zone down here, 89% linear retracement down here, multiple bloody support levels, overlapping points of control, volume up your bum, blah blah blah. Got everything you need to get down here. So if we are going to go lower, it's not the end of the world. Right, that's the first thing I'd like to point out. It's unlikely to be the end of the world, just a better buying opportunity. However, my preference is for the market for having bottomed for the moment, and I believe that this low is probably sustainable and we are now moving up into a new bull market. Okay, don't hang me if I'm wrong. I'm a firm believer that if you see 5 off of a low, you are kind of obligated to view it to view it bullishly. You might be wrong, but if you're not, that's the best opportunity you're going to get. So let's have a quick look at this incredibly impressive bullish candle for the week. And it is one of the most bullish candles I've ever seen on Bitcoin. It's got an extremely long downward wick. It's almost a dragonfly. If it had closed where it opened, it would have been. But it's just an extremely bullish hammer in this case. Now, if this had been positioned at the high, we would have called it a hanging man. But being as it's positioned at a low, with the wick coming down significantly lower than these prior lows, then this is considered very bullish and a bullish hammer. So let's now come in and have a look at the smaller time frame of how this looks. Excuse me. So in the simplest way, we have 5 waves off of the low. We have 3 waves back into our target zone that I left you with a couple of weeks ago on the last video, of between 50 and 61.8. I did speak about how we could come down much lower. That is still possible. I was being very greedy as a bull, wanting to get a double bottom. We may not get it, okay, and to be honest, it would be a lot less stressful if we don't. But let's say we've done what we've done, and this is 1 here into 2 at a smaller degree, bouncing off this downward trend line. Now this downward trend line is based off of the series of highs we had here and the all-time high projected from those 2 highs. We breach it, we backtest it a little bit here, don't quite make the backtest here, and then we backtest it stronger here between the 50 and the 61.8, and now we bounce. So what could we be doing here? Well, the simplest interpretation is that we're done. That's 2. We'll go 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 3 4 5 1 back into 2, and then we'll be off. Okay, this will be what our patrons recognise as the STS. Okay, and this will be our margin of risk with our prior stop to shrink the trade down as best as we can for our entry point to come. That's if we're lucky enough to get it. I think looking at how this is moving up as an impulse, we will see a retracement at some point. Alternatively, 5 is either the start of something or the end of something. So if this does turn out to be 5, and this is looking too strong to be a 3 at the moment, okay, it could be an extended C, that's possible, but let's say, we're not sure yet, but let's say we get a clear 5. Okay, if we get a clear 5, that's far more likely to be the start of something. So if it's not bullish, it could be an A. Okay, in which case it comes back into a B, and then it extends in a C, and we fail to make new highs, and then we roll over again and we extend this correction. Either we extend this correction or it's bearish, and this is 1 into 2, and we will break for new lows. That's the bearish interpretation. Okay, now that's basically the way I see it at the moment. There is another alternative, which is that this is 3. We will get that as 3 to a new high, and then we'll get 5 down deeper to the trend again, and the whole thing will be a flat pattern. But I don't really want to think about that until I see whether we get 5 out of here or whether we get 3 out of here, and we have to breach the previous highs anyway before that becomes a concern. So let's not count our chickens, you know, before they roost. Let's just make sure we get above that high first, and then we'll see how we got there. Whether we did it in 3, whether we did it in 5 or 1. If we're lucky, we'll do it in a single wave. If we're unlucky, it'll be a bit more convoluted. But simplest way of looking at it for me is if we get a nice 5 out of here, I'm going to see that as yet another 1. I'm going to look for a retracement for a 2, and then I'm going to be long like Donkey Kong from there. Right? Because if I'm wrong, who gives a shit? There's my stop. I'll try again another day. But if this is the low of lows, and this is the first 1 and 2, and this becomes the next 1 and 2, there ain't no way I'm ignoring that. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's the bullish case. Yes, it could be part of a large correction. Alright, yes, it could be part of an even larger correction, and yes, it could be bearish. So let's finish off with the bearish count. We finished the flat that gave us 3 very short time level A, very small stumpy A wave, very long and winded B that's very impressive in length and extends quite considerably from where the A began, and then a pretty lackluster C that only makes its way up to resistance. It's not exactly the expanded flat of the textbook. However, we'd have to classify it as a regular flat, and it fulfills the rules of a regular flat, so I won't ignore it. It's possible. So once again, this could be A, B, C, okay, 5 3 5, and that could be 1, and this could be 2, and this could be 1 or 2, or this could be 3, and this could be 4, and this could be 5, and that will be 1, and that will be 2, and 3 4 5 down in the C, because we've gone on a larger time frame WX. Right, so this would be A, or even 1 into 2, to 3 4 5 into the A, but I'll give it the benefit of being that's A. This would be B, and then we get 5 waves down in the C, bringing us into those deeper targets we spoke about, anywhere between $8.5 grand to $10,000 level. So that's the bearish case. Now, if we have a quick look at our indicators here, Going back to the bullish case, this is the 4-hour chart, so there's a bias here given the momentum off of the low. And on that basis, things look quite bullish at the moment. So bounce off the resistance from the 50-61.8, break of the downward trend in the RSI. Strong volume on the 4-hour here, stronger than we topped out with in the prior bullish move up, and the OBV is back to the prior highs and not yet breached. But if it does breach on this time frame, that's quite bullish. Okay, daytime frame will not look as impressive. It will take a lot more to turn it around. However, we did reach oversold conditions on the daytime frame. Okay, so we came from overbought to oversold, and we've bounced off of a trend. So for the moment, everything looks bullish. There are other options, but everything looks bullish for the moment. So I'm going to leave you there now, guys, because I can feel my voice starting to get a little sore, and I really don't want to tax it. I want to have it available to me all week. So thank you very much for joining me on this short, sharp update for Bitcoin. We will wait now throughout this week to see what happens. We want to see a move up in 5, a pullback in 3, buying opportunity, and then a move higher to new highs. If that doesn't materialize and we make new lows, we can consider the bearish options instead, or the extension of this correction. But a bounce from the target zone and an impulsive move up, I think, give it the benefit of the doubt. That's just my personal opinion and not financial trading advice. Alright then, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Once again, a huge thank you to my Patreon subscribers. Your support is massively appreciated, especially during times like this. If you're interested in joining the Patreon, there's a link in the description box below. Head over, have a read of the tiers, and feel free to sign up whenever you like. I'll be back with you soon. I've got an update for the stock market planned, and I need to get back into doing the top 5 in the S&P at some point as well. So all the best, glad to be back. Thank you for patiently waiting for me here on YouTube, guys, and I will see you again soon. All the best. Bye bye.